Welcome everyone to Be Better Betters Live. I'm the host, Spanky. Thanks for listening. I never did this before live, or maybe I did before, but I don't know how to work it, so bear with me here while I figure this out. All right, we'll figure it out together. So I kind of wanted to talk about BetBash. I got the live results here as they're coming in. We'll kind of go over the survey results. We'll go over it live. Everything looks pretty good. A couple of things we want to fix. But I want to thank everybody for coming to BetBash and supporting us and supporting the event. This is our fourth go around. It's been very, very enjoyable. I see people talking here. I don't know where you're able to comment, but I see Seth William Anderson. Can't wait until next year. Thanks, Seth. I don't even know how this is working. So, is this on Twitter, on YouTube, or whatever? I set this up a while ago, but thank you for that. I also can't wait till next year. So just to kind of go over everything, this BetBash was a little bit different. We had a lot more content this year, and we had a lot more extracurricular activities. Started off with the golf tournament on early Tuesday morning, and that went really well until you got till about the 12th to 13th hole. Then things got really overbearing and really hot. So talking it over, I think we might repeat the same thing next year, but we might only do 9 holes and kind of make it so that it's still enjoyable and it doesn't get too crazy. We'll see, but that's a talk. That's a thought that we've all had. Then we had the poker tournament at the Golden Nugget. That was great. That was a good time. By the way, with the golf, I think we had 10 no-shows, which I heard was pretty good considering you had to be on a bus at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that wasn't bad. Then we had the poker tournament, which wound up being great. Everybody showed up to that. We had a couple of bounties there. Chinese Mike lost on his first hand. Somebody won a quick $1,000 knocking Chinese Mike out. And we had 2 other bounties in Alan Boston and Fats, who both got knocked out eventually. So that was a fun time. We moved everything this year to the Circa. So we had everything at the overhang bar at the Circa. Registration line was a little bit longer than we wanted, but then again, the conference is growing. So that's what happens. When the conference grows, you get a longer registration. So our staff worked pretty hard to try to get everybody situated and get everybody sorted out, to try to get them their wristband and their badges ahead of time so they can enjoy the open bar and start meeting new people. The one good thing is we were able to get most people their credentials if they participated in the early events, the optional poker or golf tournament. We kind of got you your credentials there. So that kind of helped us out with the process to get you situated so that you'll be ready to go. Couple of things with the overhang bar. Couple of people said I'm just reading some of these things that it was a little bit loud, but that's just the casino environment. I don't know if we could change that. That's how it is. It's a party environment. The music's banging, everything's loud, but I can't. I don't know if I could probably put in a request, but I doubt it will be granted to try to, tone it down a little bit. This is, Circa is known for having a party atmosphere, so that's a little bit different. It's going to be a tough request, but I think for the most part, everybody kind of was able to hear each other as long as you got close enough. The next morning, then we went into our seminars, and I'm sorry, we didn't. I forget. We forget the most important part. The next morning, we do our speed networking. Now, during that night of registration, everybody had a chance to schedule their speed networking, and fill out the form. A couple of people were upset that they came too late and they didn't get a chance to get optimal meetings. We had to cut off the if you didn't fill out your speed networking form by Tuesday night for the Wednesday morning, you were still paired, but you were paired randomly. You weren't paired optimally using the speed networking algorithm. And we had to do that for the years past. Everything went too slow. People waiting around for an hour. And plus we had seminars later in the day, so we had to get people paired up right away. And that's why the speed networking, we wanted to, if you signed up, you had about a month, maybe even about a month prior to fill out a 2-minute form if you purchased a ticket. And, you were able to fill out that form. That was great. Otherwise, you got randomly paired. If you showed up to the registration that night and filled out the form, everything was good. But then, and most people got their pairings. And a couple of no-shows, which is just, that always happens. We started at 10 a.m. Nothing started before 10 a.m. for the whole BetBash. And that wound up being a huge success. We were ready to accommodate a lot more speed networking participants, but we broke a record again, and we had a lot of participants, and it wound up being great. And I know a lot of people, that was their favorite part of BetBash. Then for the next 2 days, we had seminars. We had another open bar then the next night at the Overhang, watch parties. It just kept going on and on and on, and it was just great. The seminars was the big thing this year that kind of changed things. 24 seminars, 6 live podcasts. Everybody did a great job, knocked it out the park. We'll go over the reviews right now as they're coming in. I got 128 responses on this thing. These are all anonymous. I can't tell who said what. If you do individual, you don't know who. These are just one person. You don't know. Everything is all anonymous. So you don't know what it is. I don't know who said what, and that's the way we want it. We don't care. We just want the data so that we can try to get better. And then, of course, the Hall of Fame, which we'll get into also. The Hall of Fame was very special. My buddy Richie Bachelleri got inducted, and a lot of legends, and then also, Jimmy Everett and Ron Sacco, who, Pinnacle and Chris, the founders of those two huge companies, wind up getting inducted, and that was a very special moment, at least for me personally, because these are two bookmakers that when I first started coming up in the business, I was playing with them very, very extensively, and we would have daily battles, and it was great to finally see them get the recognition they deserve, and to try to ensure that the offshore world was recognized, not just the Las Vegas markets, but the offshore markets was recognized for contributing to our sports betting industry. So, personal note, my buddy Luke got sick the first day. He had to fly back, so that sucked. That was a damper on everybody. And we were a man down. We still were able to get through it, but it sucked because I know Luke was really looking forward to BetBash, and he was excited about it. And unfortunately, he got sick. And I think I'm getting something down too, so I got a little bit teary-eyed and stuff. So that's just how it is. But I know Chinese Mike wasn't feeling too good. A couple of my other guys came home, and they weren't feeling great either. Excuse me. Oh, shit. So let's go through this whole thing right now. 128 responses, and I'll talk a little bit about each event. How satisfied? These are all good. Everybody was pretty much satisfied. A couple of guys, they weren't satisfied here, but that's life. Would you attend BetBash again? We're almost at 94%, so that's good. And again, these responses are live. They keep coming in. We emailed the sheet to all the attendees. We emailed them. Please fill out the survey. It helps us get better. How likely would you recommend BetBash to a friend? Most people would. That's always good to see. How helpful is BetBash regarding networking opportunities? Seem to be very helpful. So that's always a good thing. Now this is 85 responses. I'm going to try to read through most of these, but well, why not read through them? So what were your key takeaways? Maybe we save this one till the end. Let's go back to that. How satisfied were you with the activities overall? So this is not applicable as this. Everyone's pretty satisfied. Open bar cocktail party satisfied. Speed networking pretty satisfied. Seminars was good. 4s and 5s here. That's nice. Expert panels, all right, not bad. A lot of people didn't attend the expert panels. And the stadium swim watch party, everybody was happy about that for the most part. Circus Sportsbook watch party, everybody loved that. The Sports Gambling Hall of Fame induction, again, a lot of people didn't attend because that was a VIP ticket only. But the people that did attend, for the most part, loved it. Legacy Club after party, everybody loves that always. The scavenger hunt, a lot of people didn't participate, and a lot of people didn't like it. So that's something we got to think about. It's about 2 years in a row we had a neutral rating. This year we're kind of looking more towards, less than happy here. So, it was a scavenger hunt that was work at your own pace. A lot of people thought the first puzzle was too hard. So we got to figure something like that out. That doesn't really help with networking, really. I thought maybe teams would develop and whatnot, but that didn't really happen. So we got to figure something about that. That's sticking out to us, that BetBash scavenger hunt. Golf tournament, again, not bad. A lot of people didn't participate in that, but the ones that did, they enjoyed it. Poker tournament, same thing. Nothing crazy going on there. How can we improve? Okay. Let's go through all these long responses a little later because I want to just look at the charts first. They're easy. What sessions do you find most relevant in terms of networking? This is good. The open bar cocktail parties, obviously speed networking. Again, the scavenger hunt, nobody really networked in the scavenger hunt. I had a fantasy of people building their own teams and working together. That fantasy wasn't a reality. So we got to figure something out there and find a way to solve it. The watch parties were okay. They were relevant or very relevant. So that, it's more relevant than very, but they were still good and that was more fun. Legacy Club, again, looks good. Golf tournament, it got tough later on with the golf tournament when the heat got crazy. And poker tournament, there's always that table talk, but not too much networking there. And again, that was a smaller event. Primary goal of attending BetBash. We got 1 being more networking, 5 being more fun. So there's like a scale of 1 to 5. The higher number is more fun. It's obvious people just care about networking. They care less about fun. And we heard you and we understand that. What aspects of the conference are most important to you? Networking. Everybody wants to network. That's the big thing. That's why we call ourselves a sports betting networking conference. And second is educational content. Very important. You want to see good speakers. You want to have a great venue in the circa. Food and beverage. You want to make sure you eat all right and drink all right. And then the fun is last. So this group is not all about fun as much as we would like, but that's okay. It's all about networking and then the fun comes. How satisfied were you with the session content? 4s and 5s for the most part, pretty good. Can't complain about that rating. And then we're going to talk about each seminar now real quick. And then we'll go to each panel, and then we'll talk about these long word answers. So each seminar, Spanky's Advanced User Guide, my man Richard Diamond knocked it out the park there. Mostly 4s and 5s, great job. Secrets of Enhancing Networking Opportunities, that's my man Mike Slater who runs a speed networking event. This is okay. I would have liked to see more, right side heavy bars here, but it's still good. It's not great, but it's still good. So a lot of people attended that, and there's a few too many unsatisfied there that I'd like to see, but we'll figure that out. Survivor contest strategy, pretty much mostly 4s and 5s, so that's good to see. Ups and downs, that's Harut and Drew. Mostly positive, a little neutral here, and ups, and then that was a personal testimony that they went through that I know they shared. They opened their heart out sharing that. I wish most people would. Well, I would have liked to see a better rating than neutral here. For the most part, again, though, it's the sample. I don't know how many people attended that, but I don't even know how many. What do we got here? There's a lot of people that still haven't voted, but I would have liked to see a little bit more heavy on the right side here. But it's still. I know from the people I talked to, it was still great. The good news is nobody hated it. There was no one so far, and only 6 people rated it as a 2, so that's not bad. This was a very personal testimony and kind of a understanding how the ups and downs are very real when you're gambling for a living. Prime Suspects podcast, great job. Sports Betting 101. This was probably the seminar that I heard the most about, the most rave reviews about. And Adam Robertson runs a very successful business, great guy. I was able to talk to him for a while at the bar, and he wound up knocking out the park. Very, very good. Great job. And there's a lot of these things we're going to have as staples for future BetBash, just to let everybody know. So we're always going to run a Sports Betting 101 seminar because there's always new people coming into sports betting. So a lot of these seminars we're going to be repeating every year based on feedback and based on need. To come up with these 24 topics was not easy. It took a while. It took a lot of brainstorming, a lot of thinking, asking a lot of people different questions and a lot of feedback to come up with these. And I think we did a good job. We'll definitely be making some tweaks, obviously. Pro Handicapper Roundtable with Alan Boston. Oops, that kind of moved out of here. Where's that at? Pro Handicapper Roundtable with Alan Boston. That's all 4s and 5s for the most part. He did a great job. Taylor Mathis moderated that, which was great. NFL preview. Yep. Great job by those guys. And they were really excited. I know that they shared a lot of great information. Those are 2 smart cats that ran that. I'm proud that they did a great job, and they got a long, great future in this business. Gambling and Taxes. Conler, Ray Conler's kid, ran that, and he did great, as you could see. Sammy P, Chicken Dinner Podcast, great job. Account Longevity, all right. So these are nice 3 big towers on the right with Elihu. Great job there for the most part. Obviously, you want to see a little bit higher on the right, but he did a great job overall. This is all great. You know what I mean? I'm trying to profit from injuries. Dr. Chow and Fezzik, again, another great job there. All positive. Pro Bookmaker Roundtable with Chris Andrews, great job. Gambling and the Law, Professor Ryan Nelson Rose, great job. Circles Off, all right, great job. Mostly 4s and 5s for the Circles Off crew. Now look at this thing. This is the big one right here. Correlated parlays. Matt Bucklater, Plus EV Analytics. He knocked it out the park so far. Looking at this chart, really, really nice job. A lot of people walked up, told me that was the best seminar they've ever been to and best seminar. So congrats to him. I know he did a great. I know he even ran out of time. So he did a really good job there, and I thank him for that. I know he shared some good information. He keeps tweeting out slides and shit, and he keeps trying to share as much information. A very helpful guy. So thank you, Matt, for doing that. Banking and gambling, and that's probably going to be another staple in our Bet Bash. Everybody. These are the things that I always think about what I went through and what problems I go through being a pro sports bettor, and one of them was banking. Banks don't like gamblers unless they know what you're doing and they understand it. And a Lexicon Bank, who's a bank out of Las Vegas, understands gamblers, and they kind of, Hillary Nelson, the director of compliance there, kind of explained exactly what they look for and what not, and what raises red flags and what not, and how to bank correctly to ensure that you're following proper protocol and that you don't get a problem. And that's always a great idea as you scale up into the sports betting world. College football preview, yep, solid. You got the 2 of the best in the business. Tim Murray moderating, Brett McMurphy and Bud Elliott, amazing. Hall of Fame story time. There's somebody, I read a comment, somebody, they could have stayed there 4 hours and it still wouldn't have been enough time hearing the stories. Those guys could keep going and going. So that was fun. Deep Dive, solid. Oh, Andy and a whale, and Drew, fun time. Betting Partnerships 101, me and Chinese Mike ran that. Appreciate it. Thank you for the good reviews. We kind of broke it down as much as possible. Props, again, solid, with Ariel. And Gaining an Edge, Parimutuel Betting and Horse Racing, one of our sponsors, AM Wager. I'm so happy the people that went to it loved it. So that was a great time, and all positive there. Pitfalls of Chasing, our least attended seminar, but still positively, from the few people that attended, good positive reviews. This was, the guy that ran this was by the name of Dan Field, and he's a gambling psychologist. I had him on my podcast, and it's fascinating stuff. I kind of wish more people attended this and kind of learned, how bad things could get when it comes to problem gambling. But people are trying to find solutions to their gambling in this conference, not really worrying about the problems. So I can understand why that was scarcely attended. Always Betting Podcast. All right, I'm feeling it. American Bettor's Voice, very positive. And Sports Gambling Journalism, great job by my man Dave, all 4s and 5s here for the most part. David Hill wind up getting, I notified him of this about 24 to 36 hours before the seminar. My man Ed Barkowitz was supposed to run this seminar, wound up having his flight canceled. So David Hill stepped up, had a talk with Ed, and he knocked it out the park. So I thank David Hill. He's my man for him to take over to run that. My man Scotty running Contest Proxy, another one, positive. Fantasy football, this one was a little bit of a surprise so far. The one tower and a 5 tower are even, so I'm wondering why that happened. Matt Friedman ran that, and I think he did a good job. But again, there's more 4s and 5s than 1s. But I don't know. Some people just didn't like it for some reason. I don't know. We'll talk though. I think that was a surprise for us over here. And the Sports Gambling Podcast again, not too shabby. So that's every seminar. Every seminar, guys did their best. They for the most part, as you see, they knocked it out the park. Proud of everybody. Thank you. We don't pay any speaker fees. We don't do any of that. We just ask everybody to come and present, and we appreciate them participating and sharing their knowledge and insight and what they bring to the table. Each panel, we had 4 panels, a team affair. So that was the first 10 a.m. panel. I wish there were more, higher reviews on this one. This one was more neutral, I would say, than anything. Not everything could be a home run. Real responsibility in gambling. This is very good. I like seeing a lot of this. Learning the game. This was very insightful. Billy Walters on there, Sean Fluharty, Susan Hensel. This was a great panel. I think we learned a lot on that one, and to try to be able to. I know Alex Kane was part of that, and he kind of agreed to have his team share with us a way to contact your legislator, to be able and let them know that you're being limited and who to contact and whatnot. So they're going to share all that so that it will, for each state. And that's something that, I think if we all did that as a group effort, we could kind of, again, raise more awareness for the injustice that's going on, treating sports bettors unfairly. And the women in sports gambling, again, pretty even keel here, more good than bad. And those ladies, I think, did a good job. I enjoyed that thoroughly. All right, so now let's talk about. There's a lot of these questions. Let's start from how can we improve, because there's a lot of things we could do. How can we improve? Seminar registration seemed moved. At no point did I need to show a ticket. There were a number of overlapping seminars that were of interest to me. That's how the chips fall sometimes, but some opportunity to get information on other seminars could have been useful. Scavengers Hunters this year seemed too separate. I thought last year's team's event was excellent, although I know you received feedback that it was too much. I'll go close to that next year. Yeah, the scavenger hunt, we didn't want to make it a structured event this year. We kind of wanted to make it free form, and that wound up failing us. Not many people participated. So the free form didn't work. I think the structured, we didn't get too much rave reviews about that. Maybe somewhere in the middle, or maybe we ditched it altogether. The seminar registration seemed moot. Do I need to show a ticket? Nah, there's some, it depends which seminars you had to go through. The ones we knew where we had capacity issues, we had guys scanning at the door. So it all depends on what you registered for. How can we improve speed networking each day? Holy speed, 6 minutes is fine, just more people. So a lot of people have said that. I want more speed networking. Bring back speed networking. Let's keep it rolling with the speed networking. That's the best thing. That's why I come to BetBash. And I understand that, but you gotta, the one thing is this is most of the people that come to me and tell me that are the people that are looking for outs or looking to get down or miss that. There are other facets of BetBash. And I know a lot of you guys that want outs and want to meet people that can get down and all this stuff. I know there's a lot of you out there. And 15 meetings is a lot. Now, I know there's some people that's, there's guys, that guy Ariel who ran the prop seminar told me he would have been okay having 45 meetings, okay? And this is what people want. And there's extremes. There's guys that want extremes. We think 15 is a good move. We think it's the right move. And I understand some people might disagree. I talked to my speed networking guy, Mike. He thinks 15 is a really good number. Can we run it multiple days? It's an option. It's a possibility. Not making any promises where I'm leaning no. But the speed networking was designed for people that can't really network on their own well. And it's kind of an icebreaker. You got to be able to utilize the open bars and all these other activities, the watch parties, to figure out a way to network on your own. That's how you're going to get more out of it. You have these structured meetings, and that's great and all, but you got to find a way to go out and just introduce yourself. Consider every event the speed networking, and give yourself 5 minutes with all the people around you. I think that's will probably give you a better BetBash experience. Don't be scared to introduce yourself, and I've always advised that. Better Wi-Fi. The stability made it very hard to work overall. Really? Because there's two Wi-Fis. There's the Circa Wi-Fi, and then we had our own BetBash Wi-Fi. If you connected to the BetBash Wi-Fi, it only worked on the third floor, but it was very strong. So we made sure that we tested that. We stress tested it because in the past the Wi-Fi was bad. So I didn't have a problem with that, but I appreciate the feedback. I'll look into that. More of the same. Okay, good. Great event from start to finish. I was super impressed with how each event got bigger from one year to the next. And as I have no ideas, I don't doubt the creative team at Spanky will think of something. Thank you. Seminars were good, but a little bit on the surface level content. It would be cool to have more in-depth content as to the topics. I think they correlated parlays. I don't think you could have gotten more in depth, to be honest. We try. It is surface level because you only have an hour. To get more in depth, some of these things you could spend 3-4 hours on. I hear what you're saying, but with a lot of time that we have, we do the best we can. Keep doing whatever it is you guys are doing because it's getting better every year. Thank you. Sports Gaming Hall of Fame dinner was too long. So here's the thing. That Sports Gaming Hall of Fame dinner, the big mess up we had this year was we had a really huge gap between the time they served the second course, which was a salad, to the third course, which was a main course. We dropped the ball on that. Talked to the Circa executive team. They all agreed that won't happen again. So we won't mess that up, and we'll probably be taking more breaks during the ceremony. Too long. You gotta understand. This is the Sports Gambling Hall of Fame is very, very special, and it's a very, very special event in so many different ways. Matt Metcalf, in one of his videos about Richie Bocciolari, he talked about how, he was negotiating a limit with Richie, and to him that was his, most kids dream of going up to home plate and hitting a home run at Yankee Stadium. His Yankee Stadium moment was negotiating a limit with Richie Bocciolari. Now, most people hear that and say, Metcalf is crazy. He's nuts. He's out of tune with reality and stuff. And you know what? Most of you will probably be right. But I 100% could relate to what Matt is saying there. because when you do this for tens of thousands of hours, these bookmakers and bettors, essentially this is your life. These become your heroes. And when you see them there, I shed tears during that induction ceremony. And I will never ask somebody, this is their moment, their career defining, we acknowledge their whole career. This is serious. And when you're inducted by your peers, it's a very, very special moment for people. So I will never ask anybody that you're running too long or to cut somebody off. That ain't gonna happen. If you can't, I understand the dinner's too long. We kind of messed up with the food delivery, but the speeches are the speeches, and I'm never ever gonna take that away from the family members that are there to honor their loved ones that have passed, and for the Hall of Famers that are there to recognize that they, to accept the induction, and that induction was voted on by their peers. So, it is what it is. That can't change. The operations part of it and everything like that, we can, but I can never tell anyone to cut off their speeches and whatnot. All right. Speed networking is break. I think they meant great, maybe, but maybe include a 10-minute break in the middle to rest your brain. Very intense. Yes, I agree with that. Unfortunately, the speednetworking.com, my man Mike says that software that he had, it was designed a long time ago, and he can't incorporate breaks into that software. And I told him, we were trying to help him redesign the software a couple of years ago. I might do it. It's like, it could be able to be a passion project of mine. I'm too busy now, but I want to help him redesign the software to give everybody a break. We can't let everybody take a break at the after 5 meetings or 10 meetings, because then everybody goes to the bathroom at the same time. And he told me a lot of people don't come back if you give them breaks. So, he's been doing this for so long. He knows what's up. It's intense. It gets intense. You try to figure out a way to sneak into the bathroom between meetings. I think there's enough time, but I hear you. It is very intense. And trust me, I think it's super intense. There's people that want double and triple that, and they want to do it more and more each week. So again, to each their own. You can't make everybody happy. If someone doesn't show at speed networking, they have signed in for the event, they should not be allowed back at the speed networking next year. The unabated team was super disappointed about this event. I never heard of that. And we can't. Some people should happen. So if somebody didn't sign up, that's okay. We find a way to pair you. I have my team. When you raise your hand, they'll pair you. How can we prove? You always do. Some of us, I was in the event business, may be able to help. All right. Well, I don't have your contact, but I appreciate. Reach out to us, events at betbash.co and offer your services. We're happy to accept them. In the speed networking with several colleagues as connection, there should be a way to carve these out. The 1 hour time between sessions was too long. Maybe make time between sessions 30 minutes and leave 2 hours for lunch break. Okay, so 2 things there. The speed networking, if the speed networking is matching you up with people you already know or you already do business with, that means the algorithm is running correctly. So that's a good thing. How do we stop that? I can find a way to try to maybe be able to, you can include 3 or 4 names maybe to say, don't pair me up with these 4 people. I got to ask Mike if we could do something like that. That could be an addition we could do. We're not going to accept 30 names or 4, no. But if you want maybe 2 or 3 names, something like that, this way you don't get paired up with your own team, I get it. The 1 hour time between seminars, that has to happen. Here's why. Our sponsors pay a lot of money to sit out there and have their tables there. The only way we show the sponsors love is for you guys to be out there and to be walking around and listening to what they have to say. That's what makes these tickets affordable. That's what makes this whole thing economically viable. I can't have this, you don't have to stick around. You go grab a bite. We have the donut walls there now, which is a huge hit. We have coffee, soda, juice, tea, whatever, water, whatever you need, and you just give the sponsors a little love, and that's how we do it. That's a congregation place to congregate and to just be able to talk and shoot the shit. Most seminars ran long. So we like to have that hour gap to make sure that people have enough time. Some seminars, Nelson Rose went 2 hours total. Some seminars went an hour and a half. So it just kept going. And we want to give people the time. We don't want to make it the the break's super short. The hour thing is definitely going to stay. And again, you could just go. Sometimes you got to go upstairs, use the restroom, go do whatever you want to do. Maybe shoot some dice for 30, whatever you want. It's a casino. You're in a resort. You got to figure it out. But I appreciate the feedback, but we're not going to change any of that. We could, however, change the way that you won't meet people, and I appreciate that feedback. It's a great, great suggestion. More and longer seminars. Yeah, we got 24, man, and to have them longer, it gets tough. I appreciate that feedback, but I don't know how we could do it. It was so hard getting these seminars and securing all these experts to run these. To have to think to even put more is just overwhelming, and to make them longer, I think could be overwhelming. I appreciate the request. I just don't know if it's viable and if I could do it. Starting the Hall of Fame dinner earlier, we started at 6 p.m. last year. We did it 7 p.m. this year. The reason being is because we have panels running up until 3 p.m. and Circa needs enough time to flip the room to be able to be ready for the Hall of Fame dinner. And flipping that room in about 3.5 hours is they say that's like the bare minimum that they need. So we would love to start it earlier, but again, turnover wise and logistics wise, it's hard to do. But I appreciate the feedback, and I try to push the Circa team, and they push back. So there's nothing we can do about that. Shorten the time between seminars, yeah, can't do it. Add additional time slot again. We already addressed this. It's just too tough for us. More networking events and less panel seminars, possibly a second speed networking event. Yeah, we got a lot of these. Or other events that could be helpful for networking, like a board game contest or trivia. Interesting. The trivia idea could be something, and I'll take note of that. That's something that we might consider to do. Maybe a team trivia event or something. Speed networking, fewer connections, maybe slightly longer. So you want to have less meetings, but longer meetings. More activities like Power Slap Watch Party from last year. Cocktail parties, the first 4 long bar instead. Okay. So the fewer connections, so you want less meetings, but longer meetings. I think, by the time the longer meetings, it's speed networking. It's not, it's not long networking. That's why they call it speed. You want it to be quick. So, and I think by the time you talk in the first 3-4 minutes, you could then set up your longer meetings later on. So I think we're going to stick with that format. I think it's better to have more meetings, and you'll know if you're able to do something fast. Power Slap Watch Party, again, this all depends on what the sporting events are. Last year, we got lucky that Power Slap was going on at that time. I'm not, I can't coordinate BetBash around the Power Slap, pay-per-view schedule. So if it's there, it's there. But yeah, that was fun last year. And then a cocktail party in the first 4 long bar instead. Not a fan of that. And the reason being is because that is a walking corridor right there where there's a lot of foot traffic there. And if we have 500 people around there, it's going to be a little bit tough. I think the overhang bar is nice and flowy. There's, we pretty much run that whole second floor, and I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot more. It's a lot better. I could make the suggestion, but I think Circa. I think we talked about that before, and they kind of shot it down. I think they like the overhang bar. Man, this thing, we could go on and on here, so let's keep it rolling, because why not? This is your feedback. We want to read a bunch of stuff. Overall was great, but a few suggestions. I think figuring out how to shorten the split would be better. Perhaps limit the time for each speaker. I already mentioned I can't do that. There are a number of empty tables at the ceremony dinner. Well, where the hell? Okay, that's another response here. Maybe better size to fit people out there attending. Yeah, people, they confirm their attendance. Yeah, they confirm they're attending, but they don't show up. So we'd rather have empty seats and people not show up than people that show up and we don't have a seat for them. That's the jackpot we put ourselves into. And the last thing I want to do is, after somebody paid to be at that dinner, to not have a seat and table for them. Then I'm really gonna I don't know how I would solve that. Loved having the women in sports event as it was great to try to bring in and engage more women in the event. But I think that the panel should have gone before the Billy Walters panel. Billy was the main event. So having anything after the limits, the attendance has half been left. The main act should go last. Fair enough. Good point. Opt-outs on speed networking before had 4 meetings with colleagues and customers, which felt a waste. I get it. I got that feedback, and we're going to try to implement that. Absolutely need better food choices, healthier options. Leave apples, bananas, and fruit, salad or veggie options. Maybe include some sandwich options outside just the same. All right, so maybe we could have, instead of a donut wall, I think somebody said something, maybe have a fruit wall or something like that. We'll look into that. Invitations to regulators, operators, executives, and leagues to hear the voice of the better. So I'm going to be working on this right here. This is the big one. I will 100% be working on this throughout the next year. And I promise you that we will have more representation from legislators, regulators, the whole 9 yards. We're going to do our best to bring as many more people to the table, other than sports bettors, to hear our voice. And we're just getting started. We were lucky this year to have Tom Sage, who the vice president of the Sportsman Regulatory Association, Sean Fluharty, legislator of West Virginia, who are very insightful in their panels and who are there to help us. And Tom is going to be writing a big review about BetBash, and he's going to submit it to every regulator in the country. And hopefully every regulator in the country is going to be like, whoa, I got to look up to this. This sounds like a great time. And also I can learn something and get more educated on regulating an industry where I've only heard one side of the table. And I should listen to both sides of the table. So that's a great suggestion, and I promise you we're going to do our best to execute it. Maybe talk to Circa about lowering the music instead of raising it, and a little larger space for the overhanging bars as those events get cramped. I wish, that's Circa. Circa's loud, and I could talk to them about lowering the music, no problem. However, there's, larger space in the overhang bars. That's the only space we got for that kind of group, and that's free flowing. There's nothing else. That's the biggest bar they have. That's more free flowing. That's kind of isolated. That's not, that the general public is not really part of. The fact that this is my feedback shows it a great time and was. Thank you. I appreciate that. Twitter handles on name tags. Less noisy venues for open bars. This year's panels were less interesting topic-wise than previous years. Yes, Matt Metcalf designed the panels last year, and he did a great job. I take full responsibility for the panels this year, and I'm not as good as Matt doing it, but I did my best. I'm the one. I wanted to concentrate more on the seminars this year, and I think the panels were okay. They were good reviews. They weren't the greatest, but I think they were good, and I think we learned a lot from them. Twitter handles on name tags. Your name tag always has a blank on the other side of it, and we do that purposely. So if you ever guys want to just flip over your name tag and call yourself Mr. X, we're fine with it. We'll never, you have your registered name, and then if you want to flip it over and write whatever you want, go ahead. That's on you. As someone who doesn't maximize the use of the open bars, I prefer a cheaper ticket without an open bar. Though I understand that part of the reason for open bars is to facilitate more conversations. It might be difficult to get sharper people to talk, but seminars by sharper people would be more interesting than, for example, the very underwhelming correlated parlays talk. Whoa. Okay, correlated parlays seem to be very highly rated, so sorry you feel that way. Also, Saginaw is super slow, so having the option to put in a bulk lunch order might make sense. Yeah, I think we had pretty good experts there. So I don't know who if you want to email us, let us know who you think was not a sharp person speaking. Let me know, and we'll consider that for planning next year's schedule. Scavenger hunt gave no clues. It was extremely difficult. That's how it is. I'm sorry. Couldn't get past level 1. I understand. It's a $5,000 prize. We're not going to make this a baby thing. It's going to be hard. And guess what, though? If you would have collaborated with somebody, maybe you could have helped solve it together. That's the whole idea of it. You don't want to do this. It's hard to do it alone. You want to work with teammates. Hey, did you check out the scavenger hunt, by the way? Hey, you want to look at this together? maybe we could solve it. And you're at the bar or you're wherever, you're on a break. Figure, that's what the scavenger hunt was designed to do, to help people collaborate. Maybe we do it again and we kind of schedule a scavenger hunt team delegation type thing where you could find some teammates to work on it for. I don't know. I'm just thinking. I thought maybe people could do that on their own, but maybe we need a little bit of a nudge. We got to think about it. Speed networking was just full of people discussing fraudulent activities. I didn't hear any fraudulent activities. Seminars were good, but perhaps make them a little longer than an hour, or give us the ability to access a recording of them. Okay. So a lot of people said, is there a recording of the seminars? Is there a recording? No, there's not a recording. We record everything, but there's not a recording. Why? Because we want you to make tough choices. And we can't, in order for us to maintain the longevity of BetBash as a for-profit company, we need to make it so that you make tough choices and you come back and watch the seminars that you've missed. And the seminars are probably going to be run by different people, and there's going to be different topics. That's part of it. That's the lure of BetBash. If I'm giving you tough choices, and that means we did our job. We want you to have tough choices, and we want you to have a menu that's like, I go to a menu all the time, and I'm a big guy, and I go to a steakhouse, and I want to order 18 things on a menu, but guess what? I only could order one, and then the next time it makes me want to go back to that restaurant. I got to order something else, and then the next time I'll order something else. That's how it works. I know you want to be able to, order something and with one price pays all to be able to see it all, but you just can't. Come back to BetBash. The seminars will be there, or maybe divide and conquer. Have a friend go to one seminar, you go to another seminar, and compare notes. But we won't be releasing the recordings of anything. There's actually some people that told us they restricted us from releasing recordings of their seminars, so we just won't do it. Okay. Where am I here? Speed networking each day. Yeah, okay. No, I already did this part. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. Things are coming in quick here. All right. I think this is we read here. For speed networking, talking to two people from the same company. Yep, got it. We're going to try to be able to have you not match with some of your company. 8 of my speed networking meetings were no shows. Wow, that's caught a whammy there. Sorry about that. This is like something you cannot impact, but I wanted you to be aware of that more than half my meetings no showed. Perhaps there's something I could do within the profile I build to make me more attractive potential speed networking. So I talked to that guy Ariel that ran the props, Ariel Bosch that ran the props seminar, and he's been filling out the speed networking thing. And he actually told me he thinks he figured out how to fill it out the right way, because he was very impressed with his meetings this year. Maybe talk to him, reach out to him on Twitter. I think his thing MLB something, or I don't know. I forgot what his Twitter name is, but Ariel Bosch. He there's different ways to fill it out. I know Elihu told me he filled it out completely different from year 1 to year 2, and he liked his year 2 matches. There is a way. I don't know. If you want to try to advantage play the speed networking fill out thing, go right ahead. I fill it out pretty much the same way every year. So, but yeah, there is probably a way, and I invite you to try to do that. I think the golf was a very nice touch and well organized. However, the weather did get a bit too much for me and my group when we only completed 10 holes. Yep, Chinese Mike only completed about 12 holes. Also, there is an app I've used for BetBash since the 22 event. The app's called Blink. And it is the most efficient way to pass contact information at speed networking. It's free. Highly recommend. All right, BLINQ. Anybody listening out there? Blink if you want to pass contact information at speed networking. I'm a dinosaur. I still carry around business cards. But instead, I should probably have Blink. Don't matter. Changes were never altered from the last survey. Well, thank you so much, Jerkoff. We have altered the surveys from the last survey. That's why we put in so much educational content this year. But I appreciate you taking a shot. All right, all the networking events were so loud, though not sure what you could do since Circa likes everything loud. The ballroom area was really cold all week. We're August in the desert. I don't know what to say. If we lower make the AC less cooler, I think we're going to get a hellstorm raised on us. Being it too cold is a good problem to have, because you could always bring a jacket, or bring a sweater, or bring a cardigan, whatever you need to bring to make yourself not cold. The last thing we want, it's better to be too cold than too hot in August in the desert. More 11 a.m. start times. Thank you. We had 11 a.m. start times. We're trying. Build 1 or 2 breaks in the speed networking. I would love to, but again, like I said, the software doesn't allow it. I might make, we might figure something out there. Go to the bathroom and recharge. Conference room summers were too cold. Man, this cold thing is big. The Hall of Fame dinner was too long. Dinner was served too late. That's true. And the second break came too late. Agreed. All agreed. The cold thing, I can find out about it. It's just that, again, there's a lot of people there, and I would plan accordingly next year, because I don't know if people are gonna, if we raise the temperature and it gets too stuffy. There's a lot of big guys in there, and I know they don't like it too stuffy. Won the scavenger hunt last year. Didn't even know what's happening this year. The golf didn't seem to organize. Multiple teams of 3, it seemed, and also don't think they really factor in handicap at all. Should have sent handicap earlier to make it more fair. Thank you. That's a good point. We'll consider that. The pro tournament structure was awful. All right. I understand wanting it to end in 4 hours, but literally just became an all-in fest. Also, seminars should have had an hour in between. They did have an hour in between. Not enough time to sit down and eat, and too much time standing around waiting for the next one. Would have been nice to either have 15 30 minutes, which also would have freed up more time throughout the day. Hall of Fame ceremony really dragged on. I already commented on that. Could have fitted in 3 hours out all the breaks. Nah, we like it the way it is with the Hall of Fame. We're going to make sure that everybody gets their moment. Less push on selling things constantly. Somehow to make speed networking not so effing loud. Yeah, when you put 500 people in a room and they're talking, it's going to get loud. Captain Jack, always, he had a hot tip. Matt Landis also said that they take their meetings out in the hall. So they don't sit on the table. They go to the table and say, hey, you want to have this meeting in the hall? So it's not as loud. Maybe that's a hot tip that I thought was great. I didn't, use that tip, but I invite everyone to try it. But then by the time, just like everything good, everybody tries it, and all of a sudden the hall will become too loud. Need more actual info from panels. Yep, I hear you. It's a tough business. A lot of people don't want to give it up. So nothing more I could do. I only let them say what they want to say. I can't force them to talk about things that they don't want to talk about. It's sports betting, and it's cutthroat in some senses, and a lot of people don't want to give away the goods. We try to do our best. Limited amount of activities at the hall to reduce the length of the event. That won't happen. Provide snacks and or food at the open bar events. Again, the ticket cost, that'll be very costly. Maybe I asked Circa maybe to put a couple of peanuts or something like that. Or, when you say snacks, I could look into that. Can't really have a full food thing at the open bar events. Feeding 500 people is not cheap. And again, we want to make the ticket costs. A lot of people complain that the cost is so expensive. We want to keep them reasonable. Noise level at the open bars. Speed networking, and to the extent the Lakers Club, make it a bit shouty to hear well and focus. Not sure what could be done, but those are the only reasons I gave a 4 versus 5 grade. No problem. Thank you for that. I'll check with Cirque on the noise, see what we could do. Everything was absolutely perfect. Wow. Music to my ears. I wish people had their Twitter, Telegram names or name tags. Yep. Again, you could always put that on there and write it down with a Sharpie or with a pen. Short break between the speed networking. I'll let Mike know. Networking seminar longer. It was an hour. And again, things could go over. We let people go over. But all right, so the list goes on and on. We're almost done with this. I want to read through all of them, but what are we running here? We're already 54 minutes. We'll keep going. My only negatives here were the panels. Last year, they were probably the best part of the whole conference, in my opinion. I just feel like this year, the tops were not quite as useful and insightful. Also, one minor point on the open bars, the 7 to 10 p.m. times made it tough to eat dinner, especially when the packed schedule during the day. If the open bar was maybe shifted to 8 to 11, I would allow time for dinner before, rather than either having to eat quickly before, be late, or not eating until 10 p.m. Okay, that's an option. So we go 8 to 11 instead of 7 to 10. I'll talk it over with the Cirque and my staff, and maybe we'll consider that. Not have it when NFL preseason is going on. Now, BetBash is already scheduled for next August. And it's, there's always going to be some sport conflicting. Other people went to the first BetBash, said it was in April, and they all said that was much better. Yeah, but again, the big thing about BetBash is we want to make sure that people sign up for the contests. The circle hooks us up and gives us a good rate so that then we are able to have this thing in August and people can sign up for the football contests. Believe me, I know the weather's better in April, and I know it's a lot nicer and everything like that, but unfortunately, we got to stick to August for the football contests. And also, I think the connections mean a lot more at the beginning of football season versus the beginning of baseball season. At least for us personally, and I'm pretty sure for most people. How the players actually answer the Slido questions. Me and Mike did our best to answer as much as ours as possible. I know Richie Baccelleri. He actually flipped over the QR code in his he didn't accept Slido questions. He flipped over. There's no QR code, no scanning, nothing. He goes, if you want to ask a question, you just raise your hand. So that's how it is. It's Slido was a new thing we tried this year to be able to ask anonymous questions, to be able to upvote it. It worked out well for the most part, and it depends. You got to know your audience, know your presenter. If the presenter's on the older side, he ain't gonna mess with Slido. He's gonna mess with hands. You got to raise your hand or shout it out or do whatever. And some presenters, they ran good with the Slido. We'll bring it back next year, and we try to teach everybody how to use it. But what can you do? You can't take a horse to water. You can't make him drink. We're their network. Turn on the music. All right. Well, create space for conversations. Organize even more meetings. Perhaps grouping bookies, account getters, novice bettors, expert bettors, movers, successful originators, tech or automation contributors. Yeah, this is all good stuff. But there's so many more groupings than that, even. And and a lot of people fall into multiple groups. I'm an expert bettor. I'm a tech contributor. I could move games. I could get accounts. I'm a lot of things. Where do I go? You can't chop me in four. So it's hard to do that. This music thing seems to be a big issue, and we're going to look into that. It's a casino. It's a party atmosphere. It's Las Vegas. What's the next request? Turn off the neon lights? Like, what can I do here? We're doing our best. Speed networking needs to be multiple days. Yep. And not 2 hours straight. 1 hour and a break in between. A lot of you guys love that speed networking. Maybe some fruit as an alternate to all the donuts. I love it. The one skinny guy at BetBash. Yeah, you're right. We're definitely going to do that. It's a great feedback, and we're gonna definitely put some fruit in there. We're gonna ask for it, and it won't be just a wall of donuts. Not a lot of space considering lots of gamblers or guys who don't get lots of exercise. Thank you. Focus on actual bettors. Not sure who else we were focusing on, but thank you. Speed networking needs to be improved from selling to sharing. I would like to give the NFL preview next year. It was sad. Okay. Less rake poker tourney. This is what the Golden Nugget charges us. We put all the money into the poker tournament. Every last dollar that you paid, that extra fee that you paid, we paid towards the Golden Nugget for what they charged and for the entry fee. We earned zero to the poker tournament. Easier early round scavenger. Yeah, more advanced seminars. Honestly, quieter music at the bar would help a lot. It might not be possible, but it would be great to find a way to have open bar cocktail parties and speed networking take place in an area that isn't quite so loud. I think a common complaint was that everyone was losing their voice by the first meeting. Extend lunch after speed networking. Well, after speed networking, we had to do the seminars, so we didn't have any lunch after that, and we kind of wanted to fit it all in. But if we do an 8 p.m. start, we might be able to do this. So this is something we'll definitely consider if we do a cocktail party at 8 p.m. instead of 7. Fewer seminars, better timing of when events start and end so people have time for lunch. I'm thinking an hour is pretty good. Between each seminar, you go to Saginaw's, go to Victory Burger, 8 East. There's a lot of different joints to eat during that time. But I hear what you're saying. Great to have a large amount of people. However, the overhang bar area was very crowded. Yep, it's a big conference. The networking was much improved over last year. Building in a 30-minute break would be very helpful. I had a few no-shows, which is to be expected. Yeah, I think I had one or two myself. The speed networking felt like it was 4 people too long. Not if you ask some other people. They thought it was 30 people too short. Again, there's guys that want 45 people speed networking events. Maybe 2 45-minute sessions is a better format, but I understand the setup time is an issue, absolutely. And to get everybody there, you bang it out. It's 2 hours, you got to bang it out. Use restroom beforehand, get ready, take a deep breath, and just go. It's a marathon. You got to just do your thing and just bang it out. Panels were first puzzle not yep. It's a pretty awesome event. Too many talks were one-on-one. Yeah, but there was also account longevity, correlated parlays. I think those were pretty advanced topics. I got to do the one-on-one talks, and we got to do the advanced topics. I think we had a good mix of things. We have to welcome in new members to our sports betting community at BetBash. There's a pretty awesome event, but there's a way to identify what sport or interest someone has on their name tag. That would be super useful. Again, the back of that name tag is designed for you to put whatever you want. And I think most people there are not going to really be interested in a certain sport. We might be able to do that maybe. Let me write that down and think about it. What sport I like. Maybe they check off a sport or something so that you go around looking at name tags and just look for people that have NFL checked off, I guess. If that's something you guys want, we'll be happy. We could probably do it. Explore timing of the panels. 1 hour in between might be too much time. Again, I can't do that because we got to give our sponsors love. More speed networking. Okay, one guy said less. This guy says more. It's tough running these things. Can't make everybody happy. Maybe do a double version of it with breaks in between and break it up, or do one on Wednesday and one on Friday. Give it to me all. I want it all. Networking is always easier when you can hear the other person, so turning the music at Legacy Club down would have been helpful. Providing a truly private environment would be helpful, since there were a number of non-BetBash attendees at Legacy Club. I did not recognize that. Thank you for sharing that. Again, Legacy Club every night is open to the public. It's just Friday night that was BetBash only. Hall of Fame dinner is excellent, but it's too long. The room clearly lost attention as we got to the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Guys, I completely disagree. I was completely, again, this Hall of Fame thing is probably not for the generic guy. But for somebody for somebody that's been doing this, that I've spent my entire life, essentially my entire adult life, my career sports betting, that Hall of Fame meant a lot to me. It means a lot to me, and to watch all these and recognize what these people have done was very important to me personally. So if if it was too long for you, I'm sorry. That's just how it is. And believe me, the inductees did get the full attention. We made a mistake with the serving of the food. We're going to fix that. I think 6 would be a good number. Well, the board determines how many people get inducted, and I don't know if 10 is going to ever be inducted again. We'll see. It's always going to be 10 max, but it might be less next year. We'll figure it out. And then he breaks down exactly how we should do it. So I appreciate all that breakdown. The 4th, women in gambling, I was happy to see, but obviously someone like RX, a more respected female handicapper. Taylor Mathis did a great job, but I've been appreciating a different perspective. I don't know. More speed networking, less time in between seminars. Can't do any of those. Speed networking, again, this is a tough ask. I'll talk to Mike Slater, but I think we have the right balance. Everyone should get a buy in speed networking. Yes, we would love that, to be able to go to the bathroom. The software, unfortunately, can't accommodate it. Highlight sponsors and what they do, why they're important in the industry. Awesome. Let me write that one down. I like that. I definitely want to highlight the sponsors and talk about them and how they're important. In addition to speed networking, I think it would be beneficial to have other events where people are forced to intermingle. It seemed that people quickly gravitated to others they knew at the cocktail parties and were less inclined to network. Yeah, that's why you gotta get out of your shell. Come up to me and say, Spanky, here's what I do. This is what I'm interested in. I'm at every one of these parties. You come up to me, tell me what you like, I'll connect you with the right person. I'm there every time. Just come up to me. If you don't know who to connect to, I'll do my best to connect you to the right guy. Some guy will ask me, "Do you know anybody that does darts?" And I couldn't connect them, so I'll do my best. Um, all right, no bigger room for speed networking. Nah, that's all we got. That's the biggest room they got. Uh, Option to put Twitter usernames on name tags. Yes, we'll be able to do that. Okay, all top notch. This is good stuff. Buy rounds are in the speed networking. Yep, got it. Good stuff. More seminars and less time in between. Good. I'm excited for next year. So these are all the feedback that we got. How can we improve? I really appreciated that from everybody. Um, Again, that's the big thing. The key takeaways from the event. Speed networking was the best thing offered. Smart people out there, you know it. Conference itself was below average, but network was the best of space. Wow, thank you for that. But I thought it was above average compared to all the conferences I've been to. But then again, I'm biased. I got more value out of speed networking and resulting meetings than any other event. Yep, that's what a lot of people say. It's a brave new world and bettors need more of a voice. Thank you. Really enjoyed the seminars and panels. Hung over, joined you and me both. It's getting better every year. It sure is. Lots more recognition players are better trying to skill up and learn this year than even last year, which was improved from the year before. Thank you. Meeting interesting people. Conferences growing up. Great. Spend most of the time networking with others. A lot of egos out there. But lots more people who want and can make money together. So this is all really good stuff. Spank God's tips, new networking connections, camaraderie, passion for the industry and fun. Very organized staff, happy to assist. High-end social event. Met great people and learned a lot. This is just good stuff. Great place for new contests. This is all the positives. I always read the negatives first, but you guys, I'll just scroll through the positive and you guys can see it. I don't want to toot our own horn too much here. BetBash is what you make it. That's a great line. That is 100% true. BetBash is exactly what you make it. Outside of Twitter, the sportsman industry is siloed. BetBash provided insight into what other people are doing, and it was a great opportunity to expand beyond the things I already knew. Thank you. Great mix of learning and fun. How nice everyone was. Lots of young, sharp people in the business. Seminars were very helpful. Greatest week is an understatement. Thank you for all the positive feedback. This is all good. Any additional comments? Are there any activities? This is just on and on and on. I kind of want to share everything with you guys. Put the agenda out more in advance. I do want to do that. It's just hard to secure everybody, and people are always busy. But I want to do that. If anybody wants to come up, I don't even know how this thing works, but if anybody wants to ask a question, Alan B is the effing man. Did GRP bring it during the week? I'm not. Yeah, I think he did a little bit. He kind of left early. Can you check your DMs, please? I cannot because I'm doing this. My only complaint was I couldn't make it. Oh, that's tough. Do you still want the survey since you're reviewing the results right now? Yes, I do want it. These are just the results I'm viewing live. We definitely want the survey because in about a week from now when we close it, we're going to take everything. I'm going to have my staff review it and consolidate everything to kind of exactly know where we can improve. So bring it on, and we want to hear it. What is your favorite BetBash memory? Speed networking and participating on a panel, Hall of Fame dinner, speed networking, fats. It's always fats. Yep, it always is. Going out to a party with my fellow bettors, Roxy remembering me from last year and carrying the pen I gave him last year with him. Wow, that's strong. The Wall of Donuts, thank you. Meeting the high-level bettors in a casual environment, the fact that Elohus of the world are open and willing to talk to amateurs and new people in the industry is great. Probably made 8 figures in handshakes. Congratulations. Awesome to hear. The Hall of Fame event and the AB presentation, there's a tie. Thank you. Meeting Richard Munchkin. Richard is incredible. Not sure if he was drunk or what, but Joe Brennan was a bit unhinged at the panel and yelling at people. Was bizarre? Nah, Joe Brennan wasn't drunk. Joe Brennan's just passionate about what he does. He's an ex-boxer and he cares about the industry and he loves the business. Without Joe Brennan, um, we wouldn't be having sports betting all across America. So Joe Brennan was very instrumental in having New Jersey, get to the Supreme Court and have this whole PAPSA thing overturned. So trust me when I tell you, Joe Brennan loves this business more than anybody, and he just wants to see it succeed, and he wants to see it sustainable. Meaning old and new friends and tons of learning. Offshore meets onshore. Yes, everything. Seeing friends new and old. Mind palm shot at Joe Asher during a Hall of Fame dinner. A lot of great memories, guys. This just keeps going on. Luke getting COVID. That wasn't a good memory, but thanks for recognizing it. Meeting people I know from Twitter. Too many to tell. Talking to Rich Kid's mother's brother. I forgot his name. Really nice guy. I had the honor to talk to Richie Bashburi one-on-one for about 30 minutes, and it was by far the best part of BetBash for me. I'll make sure Richie knows about that because there's no shot Richie is listening to this thing. 3:30 a.m. craps. The list goes on and on and on and on. Spanky's fat finger to bet. Go figure. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Meeting Captain Jack. Awesome. Late night gambling at the Circa. And then we asked a couple of people. 71% of you guys are limited. Kind of want to use that stat to help us for the future. So listen, this thing's been going on a long time. I'm just rambling and reading all this stuff. I want to thank everybody. Thank you all for coming. It was a very, very special Bet Bash. My staff, worked very hard. Shout out to Amanda, who I always say, without her, Bet Bash would be Bet Trash. She did a great job in organizing everyone. We are not professional event planners. We are sports bettors. We run a sports betting office, but we happen to get into the event planning business once a year to make sure that our fellow bettors get in touch with each other and interact with each other in an environment to be able to create synergies, share stories, hear stories, create memories, and have a great time. Thanks to Allison McCoy, who helped us out with all the sponsorships and helping us with planning the whole event. Chinese Mike, my partner in crime, and all my other Manny with the scavenger hunt and doing all the AV and everything. And my whole staff, Jeff, Mike A, Meow, Chu, Nick, Jake, Mary Ellis, Chris, Noah, Jeff. The list goes on and on. We really worked our asses off for you guys to be able to bring the best conference we could possibly bring, to have a good time, and to learn and to network. And I'm listening to you. I hear you. We're going to do our best to try to keep making it better and better. I think we have a good winning formula now, and the big question out of this whole seminar that we kind of look at is, would you attend Bet Bash again? We're at 93.9%. What more could you ask for when you have that kind of rate of people saying they'd come back? So we thank you. We welcome you back. We're going to keep doing this until way past when I'm around, and then we want to keep doing this forever. This is something that is required by the industry. We need it, and for that, I can't wait for the next one. But right now, I actually am glad it's over because I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm drained, and I left it all out on the field or at the Circa, and I'm in a Bet Bash low right now, which I just need to take a step back. I've been sleeping heavily the last couple of days, so time to recharge those batteries and prepare for the football season ahead. Thanks so much for the time. Until next time.